Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. I've got some disheartening news to share with you, and I'm going to try my best to explain it, but it will be vague out of respect for people's privacy in general, okay? All this occurred as of tonight within a space of a few hours. Some people have walked away from this channel, mainly because of the theme, not getting anywhere, becoming boring. Well, that's people's own choices. It is what it is. But I'd like to say big shout out to the real people, the genuine people that stick around and still watch regardless. Good examples of people from the Dylan Rounds case as far as back as the Kenny Veach case that will never be forgotten, okay? So others can walk away. They do what they need to do. I move forwards. This channel grows. And the people that stick around, the true people, have a good time to a certain extent. So just wanted to make that clear first. So there might be a bit of an exodus of humans with time. It's to be expected though when it comes to cases over a period of time. Not everybody has the same stamina levels. Not everyone has the same patience, understanding, perspective. Some people aren't as open-minded, others maybe a bit narrow or obtuse. It is what it is. But that's not the main issue, in case you were wondering. In regards to the disheartening news, in short, some serious false claims have been made about me in regards to the Noah Presgrove case community. And as said, no names to be mentioned, because what good does it do? All I can say is, for some of you, you may be aware of these named individuals and you may be somewhat shocked or surprised by people's attitudes, behavioural shifts. It caught me off guard, if I'll be honest with you, because I wasn't expecting any of this and it just suddenly came in a massive burst and wave. So to simplify it, accusations have been thrown my way that when it comes to Facebook of all places, such as group chats, when it comes to talking about the case and just some light-hearted talk as well, kind of like what you see here on this channel, that a particular group, accusations of me passing on all the conversations to a certain key person within the Noah Presgrove case. And I don't mean a party goer or a witness like that. I'm just talking about kind of like a prominent named individual you may have heard of previously or come across in some way, okay? And that's supposedly all on Facebook. Now, all I can say with absolute honesty, I shouldn't have to explain myself, I know. I should be able to just get on with doing stuff, but when it gets serious and when things can escalate, I've just got to do the formal procedure. This is my YouTube channel. I do need to try and preserve it as best as I can so it's not impacted negatively. And like with all the videos and cases, what's been documented, all the good that may have been done, even if it was very basic what I've done, right, and what I've tried doing, done what I can. You don't want negative effects to knock on with them. So that's why I'm just doing this little video. So reality is, honestly, there is just not enough time to be doing those said actions which I've been accused of, first of all, right? I don't participate too much either in chats too. I'm just not always there because I might be on the phone, but I'm researching videos, I'm planning videos, I'm sourcing out material, stock footage from websites when it comes to creating those higher end videos, which does take a lot more time to do and focus. I might nip in or pop in, hi, how are things? Just a bit of looseness, right? I mean, being honest, I might not always be good at communication or conversations or talking about life, okay? I do what I do best at, which is covering cases and, you know, things like that. I said, this is not like a life story, and I shouldn't have to talk too openly or too personally because I don't think it's fair on me. Just like how it was a little bit awkward when it came to that last live stream where it was one person against multiple, and it, you know, being honest, it seemed just a little bit full on, if I be honest with you, because at least in the past it wasn't quite like that with different audiences and communities. But I don't know, it just seemed like I wouldn't say certain keywords because it'll probably trigger people, but I don't know, it was just a little bit full on. But it is what it is. If I put myself out there, then I guess it's on me to an extent, such as live streaming, hence why I don't always do it. I stick with normal format videos. There's a little bit more control and a bit more relaxing and calm. Okay, but to refer back to communication, maybe not as active as what other people are. It is what it is. In the past, when I wasn't doing videos every day, when I wasn't as active on YouTube, yeah, there might have been more time to communicate, but there just simply isn't these days. And, you know, there might be some key people out there elsewhere where things may get quiet, but it's not done like intentionally. Anyway, we're going off subjects just a little bit. So with not really having any time to communicate, there isn't much time to track everything in conversation either. A quick scroll through, but not really. The actual theme of passing on conversations, I don't understand the purpose or point of doing that. What good does it do? What's the actual aim of it? I mean, if I don't see the point or the aim and I'm completely clueless as to why that action would take place, then how can it apply to me doing it then? Because if there's no point in doing something, then you're likely not to do it. So, weird. Was there anything else to mention? I mean, I kind of like briefly asked, I mean, where's this all coming about? And it took some time to get a few responses because people were being a little bit nasty, quite argumentative, and not quite of the same theme or pattern as in language wording, but in terms of that one against all behavior, that's what it was like. And to be honest, I kind of find it ironic because it probably is like a microcosm of life in a way, in my experience, one against all. It's just disappointing to see, you know, like a coven, a pack of wolves, one after another, questioning, accusing, demanding answers, no patience. And it's all in a space of like a few minutes after, you know, doing the video that I did, trying to engage there, maintain that focus, discussions and whatnot, and then suddenly being faced with this false claims about me being like a spy. I mean, we've seen the previous claims in the past, false claims of hacking this and hacking that, false claims of being a trafficker. I mean, not everybody will experience this type of stuff, but then again, it depends how prominent you are online. I don't know if I'd be considered an influencer or not, or just a digital creator, whatever. But the more popular you become, or the more known you become, more of a target. And that's unfortunate. It can happen though, can't it, where humans may latch onto you, but it could be done for dark reasons. That hasn't happened yet, but there's always that chance that it could, or it may have happened if I wasn't as, I don't know, reluctant. It's just really disappointing to see, because when I look back to the past and more isolated cases, it felt just a bit more positive, but not as much now. But there is another big contrast, the fact that if you compared to the Dylan Rounds case to this case, in the Dylan Rounds one, I literally stuck to myself, kept my head down, did my own thing, didn't really bother going anywhere else or communicating with that many. I never attended like other people's live streams on panel, never did any of that, didn't really feel comfortable, to be honest. Didn't really engage with live stream chats either for numerous reasons. So I really did keep to myself. And I know people could say, well, you know, you need to expand yourself and do this and that. And look how it's gone within the Noah Presgrove case. I mean, for a change, I wanted to give it a try. Okay, I'm going to be honest. You get like false impressions when it comes to YouTube, but that's people being very ignorant. Yeah, I might be able to talk a lot here, but come on, let's be realistic. It's just me in a room looking at a camera. Now, yes, that still requires a level of confidence because everybody's got to start somewhere and, you know, do what they can. It's not always easy, but like, at least for me, I can do this and I can be at times comfortable enough to mess about or be a bit lighthearted or, you know, things like that. But yeah, we're talking about other types of settings, situations. It's not exactly comparable. It's not like an accurate, full representation, right? But I think that's the problem sometimes, which can come with pressure, high expectations placed upon me. It can be a bit awkward at times, but, you know, not everybody looks at it with a full perspective. They'll just think, oh, Warlike Ref, very confident, very full on, all under control. But it's not. It's not. It might be here, but it's not everywhere in life, right? I said we don't need to expand too much, but I'm just trying to give a full perspective because it just seems a bit ridiculous. And I don't know if I mentioned it earlier before because I am trying to be very careful with how I word things, considering what has gone down and what could be ongoing. Is, you know, I would say, arguably speaking, I've never been more insulted than I have been as of today or tonight in such a short space of time. For humans to turn on me and to question me, despite them showing positivity previously in terms of their outlook of me or my channel, my coverage, to then just suddenly go into like a witch hunt mob mentality, poking and prodding at me, demanding answers, but lacking evidence, yet suggesting, well, no, stating that I am the one responsible for passing on conversations to another person out there, which somehow has led to these people in a group experiencing negative outcomes, whatever that might be of. And the justification of reaching a conclusion that I'm the one responsible is because there's only so many in the group and it must be me. It's just really poor reasoning ability, if I'll be honest with you. I mean, if there's like full-on hard concrete evidence, fair enough, but there isn't. Now, you know, I shouldn't have to defend myself, but I just wanted to do like a little response here and there, and even in the background too, because I should be able to an extent, just to try and find like the root cause or problem as to what's going on. But ultimately, there's just a language barrier. I've seen this within the Dylan Rounds case, okay? So the reason why I'm not like talking in different pitches or doing all that type of stuff, it's not because I'm physically tired like that. It's just bored by people's presence. It's just the same old cycles as back then. So in terms of how one deals with it, well, I know how to. And hence this is one of the steps. Covering one's traces, spreading awareness at the same time. And just, you know, at the end of the day, I don't expect people to defend me. I mean, yeah, there might be long-time viewers that will probably say positive stuff and, you know, defend me, and that's obviously appreciated. But at the same time, I don't demand, I don't expect, only because, you know, those who aren't on Facebook or aren't on these group pages, they're not going to know the full perspective. Now, yeah, that may come across as putting myself down, but I'm just trying to be honest and show that full balance, you know, showing that full perspective on everyone out there and then reflecting it back on myself. Maybe I'm too balanced, maybe I'm too sensible, too boring, but You know, it is what it is. Sometimes I feel like it's a curse in life, and then other times maybe it's helped me at times dodging bad things. I guess in this case, I've kind of got caught up within it. Not that I expected it to happen, but I guess it just comes with when you try interacting with people. Yeah. As I said, Dylan Round's case, different, kept to myself. Noah Presgrove case, just try to, you know, learn a bit more, see what other people were thinking, you know, try and develop, grow, spread that awareness with the video so then more people have better reach for them so they can learn and see things from my perspective. And I think at the end of the day, it didn't really work out. So I guess for the future, I'll just stick to myself and do what I normally do. Because if I be honest with you, the channel's been okay. It's still healthy. But at times I truly have sensed that, maybe not intentionally, but humans have tried bringing me down to their presence, or getting to a point where I'm kind of forced into a corner with almost like an emotional manipulation or blackmail, in which I have to do this or do that, because if I don't, oh, I'm a bad person, and, you know, along the lines of that. And, you know, I've got to put my foot down at some point at least. Got to be fair. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, that live stream that I did, and so many questions flying about, yeah, it was a little bit overwhelming. So I didn't know how to respond. But, you know, there was some personal questions which were probably just stepping over the mark, okay? There's a time and place for everything, and I think it just wasn't the right time, okay? We don't need to get too strict, but need to be realistic at the same time, because you don't see me interrogating people full on like that. You might see it that when it comes to my videos, it doesn't matter what videos they are, put aside the really light-hearted dodgy stuff, okay, but all the other things, how I word stuff, how I may question it, how I might respond back to someone's question, it might be a very specific way, kind of like positive but light, but that's because that's like how I would want to be treated myself. It's kind of like the equivalent as in when I was playing some games with people in the past, and yeah, I didn't want to, because we'd been strangers and first time icebreaker, it just didn't, it felt uncomfortable. It's just where it is. And the way they responded was, no rush, you don't have to rush, you don't have to do anything, feel free to join in when you want. In the meantime, you can just sit, listen and talk when you want. So it was quite welcoming. It was really refreshing to see, you know, things like that. It's just like small scale stuff, but it does help. So by applying that in other situations, me towards someone else, whether they need it or not, you know, there's no harm in doing it. But obviously not everybody is like that, so you might get burned at times. But, you know, I know I'm drifting in and out of stuff, but I'm trying to process it all on the spot, because this is in a very short space of time. So credit to those that are still watching and listening in. I understand this is probably very vague, but by going in depth or, you know, screenshots, what good does that do, right? And all that would possibly do is give ammunition to certain individuals that could then twist it and use it against me. That doesn't help. But yeah, I do feel like I have been insulted more than ever by certain individuals, not exactly complete strangers. Complete strangers who I've never seen or heard before. It happens. But then again, I might have come across some people recently who had a few things to say about me behind my back in the past. And I did document that. But take in consideration that video was done earlier today, before all of this happened. I'm sure some won't believe me, but it's true. I was going to do it on the sideline. I was actually going to upload it earlier today, but, you know, I didn't want it to overshadow my main video about the case itself. So I'll probably just do this side one tomorrow morning time, right? And then Kenny Veach, because some really interesting but dark things have gone on there, and it truly needs to be covered. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, shout out to Christy. good individual, for the questions, other stuff. That was appreciated. And, skeptical as well, who comes in here and there when they've got time. But, and I saw, it might have been light-hearted, but I saw like a comment by Maria saying, "Oh, you antisocial." No. I'm just trying to think. I'm sure there was another comment by someone, Sasquatch, that questioned me or was talking about psychological issues, but applying it to me. I don't know what this is turning into, to be honest with you, because once again, I might have to put my foot down, because this is not some kind of social experiment or let's prod the person's brain. I'm not some kind of patient, okay? I'm here as a YouTuber to cover cases, to spread awareness, and to do other videos here and there for myself, the music ones, the ambient whistle ones, and bits and bobs along the way, gameplay. Some questionable people I'm seeing with time, past and present, and it is very disappointing to see. It might be more so one gender than the other, and that's just factually speaking, especially when you look at it statistically. People could say, "Oh, what crimes have you done?" Well, I guess the only crime that I've done is the fact that I'm a male. You see the way the world is nowadays. Exactly. So it can be really, really difficult at times, and you got to be very careful, because the way people can act, the way people can just turn and change and say false claims, and it can be believed by the masses, can be extremely detrimental to the innocent individual. So all I can say is to reflect back on the false claims being made, okay? I have done videos defending the odd person here and there where there is a need to do so, but in addition, I can't just dedicate all my time on YouTube in covering drama and defending people in drama and all of that, because even if I did a video about it, clearing it all up, it would just continue on and on and on. Other dark forces out there that have it in for others. And then what am I supposed to do? Constantly nod my head at command? That's like the true definition of being taken over, control, losing yourself, okay, your own presence, your own channel, losing control, and following orders. That's not how it works, okay? Let's get a grip. Let's rethink. And I'm not applying it to everyone, okay? See, this is the thing. There are a set of people on my channel that just don't question me, but they can think for themselves. I don't know how to word it, just like godlike people. They can think for themselves. They're not questioning me. They're not getting emotionally unstable. They're not getting over erratic. They can think clearly. They can question some points or, look at it from a different perspective. That's all good. That's natural. That's healthy. But I've just noticed that maybe more so within the Noah Presgrove case, there's a lot of emotionally unstable people. See, that's what separates me from all, is that I'm not emotionally connected to the case, but I'm interested in the case. So it means I can look further, I can look deeper. When bad things happen, I don't overreact, I don't jump in the deep end. I actually think before I act. But I'm seeing a range of people not thinking clearly, overreacting too quick, jumping the gun. So either they make a prat of themselves or they may take it out on the wrong person. We're seeing how at tense times where it can be very emotional for people for whatever reason, people aren't thinking clearly. They might be acting on some kind of internal instinct, but it's blinded, the judgment, blinded by emotions, and it's just a little bit all over the place. People are a bit discombobulated, and when you get that disconnect, there is a language barrier and gap too. I've noticed it all with time, and maybe sometimes I felt a bit reluctant, maybe I felt a bit of dread within, thinking, I don't like the attitude of this person, even if it's something so simple. Take in mind that it just takes me 0.5 seconds, right? But furthermore, that when I come across certain humans and just simple responses. I can upscale it, and I have noticed it with some, okay? Even if it isn't people from the US, elsewhere, I've noticed it. Rudeness, arrogant, ignorant, might represent the country that they're from, to be honest. And I think quite a lot would agree, but still. I've encountered humans with time, okay? I've been able to generalize extremely accurately, but I keep it to myself. And as time goes on and on and on and on, and then I come across problematic person after problematic person, however, wherever, doesn't have to be on YouTube, it just reinforces it in my mind. And, you know, my instincts, as I said, can be very sharp, and I hate it. It's like a curse, because it just means, well, can't trust, no point this, no point doing that. Could be a trap, could backfire on me, could get hurt. You know, not physically, more, you know, psychologically, all that messy stuff. And yeah, maybe granted it did happen, like in 2021, the odd person will understand and know, and, you know, can't let stuff like that happen again, especially when it comes to, you know, doing YouTube. You can't let it slip, because if you let it slip, then negatively it impacts the case or a case or whatever you're covering, and the awareness. And it reflects back to the whole, oh, gotta follow orders. I am the channel owner, I am the creator, this is my channel, I'm supposed to be taking orders? Excuse me? Once again, insulted more than ever. I don't know what's going on. The short story is, what will happen is, at some point, humans will realize their spasmodic behavior, their egocentric mindset. They might come back on their knees, they may apologize or whatnot, but what's done is done. And that's what I mean. What's done is done. The Dylan Rounds case, humans showed their true colours, and past that point it was lost cause. Simple as. Okay? That can happen once again. Sure, the reality is I could move on to a different case. Another 1,000 people come on in. Replace the other 30 or 40 or 50, whatever. Replaceable, yeah. But it's still always disheartening when, you know, things happen. But, yeah. To reflect back on, you know, certain said individuals questioning me, the reason why that's problematic is the fact that if they've been positive beforehand, it really meant nothing. For them to question me now would imply that they never trusted me in the first place. So what was the whole point of it? The process, right? If you know someone to an extent and you respect them and this and that, then you're not just suddenly going to turn on them. I mean, what's happened here is kind of like a similar situation as to what happened to a certain person, in which posts were made, online false ones, and without people questioning or thinking or giving the time to listen, they just turned on that person just like that. And yet, as you know, not that I'm stupid, okay, I know people say that I'm very intelligent, but to be honest, even that can, you know, lead to high expectation, right, and pressure. But just being a little bit slower in terms of not overreacting actually gave the chance for a person to share their side of the story, their innocence, and even, I guess, present it on the channel, freedom of speech. Yet all of that seems to be completely neglected at a time when the world stood still and majority of humans turned their backs on a said individual. Yet I was the one that didn't, and yet that gets completely forgotten about now. And now I'm questioned that I'm not doing enough, that, oh, I'm spreading information here or being a spy elsewhere. Oh, that I'm also messing about with a range of different people. But let's not forget the way people have spoken to me and interrogated me with personal questions. It's really getting pathetic, okay? Now, yeah, maybe at times I can be very quiet in life, and, you know, maybe that's a curse itself and I miss out on things. But there's a time and place where things do get a bit serious and got to lock on in, okay? And that's like a time right now, because we're not fucking about right now, okay? I'm a YouTuber. I create videos of interest, what I want to do, and at the same time it can help people, others, And it's not just cases helping, but just helping people in many different ways. Some people that have reached out, as miscellaneous and small scale as it might be, small number of people that have reached out with time, you know, whether it be thanking me or that a certain video that they needed at a bad time or something, that's all positive. So, you know, there's a lot more to it, right? And, you know, when certain claims are made about the challenge stuff, you know, I started since 2013. From 2013 to 2020, I was nothing. I was a nobody, right? I did videos when I can and when I could be bothered. And then with time, at some point, it just clicked. There was like a sign. Oh, videos seem to be working. Well, I'll just stick with it and see where it goes. Not without thinking or planning too much. And it's where I am now. So whatever I've done has worked, but it's also helped people. So why should I change that? So when certain humans come on in at some point and it feels like I'm being steered away from what I should be doing, it's just not a good thing, is it? So I do have to put my foot down and, okay, maybe I don't do that enough. But at the same time, I don't want to go too all in, because honestly, I really don't want to get too serious, because it's not fun. But at the same time, it won't be fun for other people. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so all in all, with the false claims made about me recently and other kind of like vulgar claims, or almost like compare me to some kind of prostitute or whore. Now, I know we joke in the background, very light-hearted, but you know, when it comes to life experience and certain stuff, maybe one never has experienced, to be suddenly branched with a certain category or doing certain stuff now, and it's extremely unnecessary and very disappointing, because majority of these people are fully grown adults. And yeah, there might be the odd 23-year-old here and there, or 20 maybe, but yeah, it really is problematic, and the way it pisses me off. But I said, I'm being very careful with my wording, but I think we'll definitely have to reevaluate and lock in, okay? I'm not going to be messing about, no dilly-dallying around. Yeah, at this stage, after how I've been treated over time with what's gone on, I have absolutely every right to walk away from the Noah Presgrove case. And I don't care what humans may say. I have every right to walk away, considering how humans have treated me at times. Okay? I've seen it myself, and some of you would have witnessed it too, hence why I do document my videos. And whilst granted, yes, I've not shown, you know, the documentation today, that's for good reason, and hopefully people understand, but you get the theme of how things have gone. But you know what the reality is? Whether this case is about to come to a head, an end, or if it's a load of bullshit and it drags on and on and on, if there are still videos to cover, I will still cover those videos on the case. If the case goes completely dead and hardly anyone watches, then I'll have to rethink things, because the aim and purpose is to spread awareness, and if I'm failing, then obviously it's not doing much good. So there's that to take in mind. But I just want to say, regardless of the resistance, and I did make the predictions, and I've just predicted everything. Now, sometimes I joke and I say that in life I'm cursed. I don't mean YouTube, I just mean generally in life, in real life, I'm cursed somehow. But like with the predictions, I do predict stuff, and that might sound good, but it tends to be negative. I can predict things with humans too, negative, how they could turn on me or what could happen, and that's why I can be quite reluctant and try and maybe keep to myself at times, because you don't always want certain responses or replies, because it could come across as very patronising. Even positive people can be very patronising. I've seen it myself, and it wasn't that long ago either on YouTube. Such cancer, right? You know, the people that may just watch in the background, shout out to them who just listen in, because I know they're not causing any trouble, but you know, they're probably doing the right thing, like a win-win. Learn, listen, have fun, entertainment, pastime, whatever helps them, distraction, whatever, and without them getting caught up in stuff. Now, yeah, maybe I've got caught up in stuff in recent time, but that's only because I tried to reach out a bit more and like talk a bit more, but I guess it's just reinforced it's just not worth it. So there you go. Just another adaptation, right? Apologies if the flow isn't great. It's just, you know, I'm doing it on the spot, really. But to refer back to the situation of walking away from the case, there are still videos to cover. Maybe they are limited because generally there's only so much that can be talked about and covered. Okay, other people may have pissed off now, is what it is, but there are still things to look at. You can look at old things, but with a new perspective. And humans that have a dense mindset won't acknowledge that, and that's why they walk away, right? There is still a lot more to it. And there might be questions, things that can be unearthed, just simply talked about, which have never been thought of before. But, you know, it's like a revolving, endless door where there's just no clarity or direction of acknowledgement when it comes to outside forces from elsewhere. You can try and explain it. They'll have none of it. I can try and defend myself. I can try and respond back to accusations. They'll have none of it. I can't win, right? It's kind of a lose-lose situation. So there's only so much I can say. There's only so much I can do. But what I can definitely do is cover this case, keep it alive whilst others have pissed off and some have had no choice but to step down or keep quiet, or they've just got busy with other things in life, right? There is still some videos to make. But granted, there are also other videos to make on other cases. Important, very, very important, and I'll have to attend to that too. As said, there are a lot of pressing matters at hand, and this type of petty behaviour isn't exactly one of them, but I do know how things can escalate. And if it is a certain way, you know how the Me Too movement goes, and you can see how people's lives can be absolutely destroyed. It's absolutely unnecessary and messed up the way humans can be. And it does not matter if it's online or in real life. A human is a human, a real person, and they can act in different ways, can't they? Good and bad. So regardless of the distance or communication, sometimes there needs to be a response, and I think that's what was needed right now. Okay, I mean, maybe it's done me a favor, lightened the load in a way. Maybe at times it's been a bit intense or maybe a bit more full on compared to how it's been in the past. Certain styles of coverage and stuff which was done maybe in 2022 with a certain audience worked great, good sense of humor, not too deep, not too serious. But then fast forward to nowadays, maybe it's probably just not as appropriate. Who knows? But I just wanted to give like a full evaluation, okay? And maybe even a bit of a psychological one. I wasn't anticipating to make this video because I thought, well, I wasn't thinking at all, but just random stuff going on in the background. If some people don't understand it, it is what it is. If some people think it's too long, the video, it is what it is. But I do know that there are some good people present who will understand, and that's what matters. So tomorrow, I'm going to cover a very important case video, but I'll have a sideline video possibly too of Noah Presgrove. Just a retrospective one, that's all. I don't know if it will lead to any conflict. It shouldn't really, but if it does, well, it just so happens that what has been said about me in the past was on a page which I wasn't on at the time. Oh, but I've come in contact with people in recent time, those said individuals that are, neutral or positive of me now. Two-faced. Two-faced. There are certain humans that I detest, okay? And with time, I am seeing it. Very interesting. With that all being said, I think I'll leave it there for now. I don't know when this video will come out because it is really late. I think it's like 00:30 or something in the morning. That's how random it's happened. There's not much more I can do. There's not much more I can say. Okay? Lone wolf. Against it all. It happens. Maybe someday things will change. Might get lucky. But thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye for now.